Hi everyone, Dr. Caitlin Butler Birmingham, aka Dr. K, naturopathic sports medicine doctor. Today, going through the hormones involved with digestion. So, as some of you may know, I teach the healthy eating and weight loss coach course for canfitpro, and what I've noticed over the past few years or so is that students have the hardest time with the hormone section. So, I'm just going to summarize that section for you guys, and hopefully that you can incorporate your knowledge of healthy eating and weight loss along with the hormonal aspect. Now, before jumping into the hormones, we do have to take a little trip down the physiology piece. So when you're eating, you're chewing the food, you've got it in your mouth. If you're chewing it for long enough, then you might have salivary amylase be active on the carbohydrates in the food. But most people only chew maybe 2 to 3 times, and then it's down into the esophagus it goes. From the esophagus to the stomach, where it's doing a mechanical and chemical breakdown. So the mechanical piece is from that churning of the stomach, breaking down, whatever you've got in there into smaller and smaller pieces. And then you've got the chemical piece, which is the stomach acid, the HCl, hydrochloric acid in there, that is really going to be active on the protein piece. From the stomach, we go into the small intestine first, and this is where accessory organs, the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas really come in. So the liver and the gallbladder are going to be supplying the bile that fat needs for absorption, and the pancreas is supplying the pancreatic amylase, protease, and lipase for breakdown of carbs, protein, and fat so that they can get into the bloodstream. So from the small intestine, then we're over to the large intestine for water absorption and fiber digestion, then onto the rectum and the anus for excretion. So that's the pathway that we're on. Now the hormonal piece of that. So let's say, it's just before lunchtime, you're getting really hungry. That's when ghrelin is the most active. So ghrelin spikes, boom, that's where you get that hunger. So ghrelin is the green monster. That's how I remember ghrelin. So that hangry green monster, right? That's ghrelin. Ghrelin is up, then you eat, and then now let's say your meal has protein, fiber, and fat. So let's say it's a chicken salad with the side of avocado. So you've eaten that. That is going to be the most influential for ghrelin and CCK. So to keep ghrelin at bay, that hangry monster, to keep it at bay, you want to have a meal that has those 3 components, so protein, fiber, and fat. CCK is going to be active, and what it does is actually slows down digestion. And the whole purpose of that is to help the person feel full for longer, which is key when you're getting into weight loss, because the biggest complaint is the person feels starving all day, especially if you're, cutting calories or, limiting how much food, or maybe they have a food window that you're working with. So the more that you can help them feel satisfied and mitigate cravings, the better. So CCK is active, slows down digestion, making sure that we can incorporate everything that we've eaten into our system. And then from there, once that's all active, that's all good, you've eaten, now leptin has a chance to increase. So leptin is going to go up and ghrelin is now down. So those two are actually paired and opposite, right? So if ghrelin is super high, you're really hungry, leptin is nowhere to be seen. But the opposite is also true. When leptin is up, saying, everything's good, we feel satisfied, that is when ghrelin is down. So when all of this is going on, the pancreas is pretty awesome because it's adding in the pancreatic enzymes when needed, and it's also supplying the release of insulin. So, you've got your carbs are broken down, they're into their glucose molecules, they're in the bloodstream. This is where insulin comes along and is collecting all of the glucose molecules and putting it into the cells where it needs to be, whether it be for working muscle or whether it be for storage for later in the liver. So bringing glucose in, you've got insulin, right? That's bringing the glucose into the cells. Then let's say, it's a few hours after you've eaten lunch and you decide that you want to go on a long walk. So the first little while, the glucose that's been stored in the muscle is being used. But let's say you're going for a really long walk. This is where glucagon comes in. So when you're in the fasted state, glucagon is the one that is active. So remember glucagon? Glucose is the sugar molecule. Glucose is gone, glucagon. Okay, that's when glucagon will be active. So that's where glucagon comes in. It's breaking down glycogen molecules from the liver, making sure to release glucose into the system so that it can get taken up by the working muscle. So if, for example, you do a workout, you just wake up and then you go and do a workout, that's where glucagon is active because it's making sure that you have the energy to keep going and that the muscles that need those sugar molecules are getting them. Then, last but not least, we have cortisol. That's the other hormone that we talk about in the class. And it's just your blanket stress hormone. But the most concern that we have is that it affects the immune system, it affects tissue repair, and it impacts weight loss. So if, for example, you have somebody that is eating well and they're working out and they're still not losing weight, setting aside a medical condition, but if they're stressed all the time, definitely make stress management a part of your whole toolbox that you're using with them, right? So, ghrelin, green monster, right? Get hangry, that's ghrelin. CCK is the one that slows everything down. Keep this person satiated and satisfied. Leptin, that's from the fat cells. It comes up. Yep, all good. We don't need any more food. Everything's good here. Insulin is the one bringing glucose into the cells, and glucagon is when there's no glucose in the bloodstream and we need to get it there. Cortisol, definitely the stress hormone. Alrighty, guys, hope you enjoyed the summary, and I'll see you soon.